I watched President Obama's presentation of the Medal of Honor to Salvatore Giunta. And that story has sort of quietly captivated the nation. Young, I believe he's a staff sergeant. Several of his platoon are shot down. They're in the middle of a firefight. They've been ambushed. And he valiantly goes and guns down one of the insurgents. And the other one flees, and I think he wounds him and drags his friend to some degree of safety. But the guy Salvatore Giunta, this story, I find the humility of the man compared not just to Barack Hussein Obama, but compared to that class of clowns in the United States Congress. The humility of the man. I'm just an average soldier. That's what he said. And the woman with the cute accent on 60 Minutes said, "You're average?" Yeah. Well, then who would be a great soldier? What about the great soldiers? I said, yeah, imagine how good they must be. I mean, that's pretty strong. That's really strong. I said yesterday erroneously that he won. But there was an email that came in from a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, Lance Corporal Clayton, and he wrote, "Michael, I had the honor of watching one of America's true heroes receive the nation's highest honor today. Something that many people think you win, but it's really not won like a trophy or prize. The Medal of Honor is not something that someone sets out to receive, because the act of which it takes to get it is typically so big that you do not survive," which is why there have been 9, I believe. The last 9 have been given to people posthumously, given to the families. This is the first living Medal of Honor winner since Vietnam. "This being said, the highest respect should be paid to those who do receive it, and all should honor that person. Today, while watching Staff Sergeant Giunta stand there waiting, I couldn't help but think about his family and question where they were and why they weren't there in the front row, along with the soldiers that were with him during the altercation. At the end of the ceremony, the president started shaking the hands of all the congressmen in the front 2 rows and chatting it up with them. It wasn't until he reached the 3rd row that he was actually to the point of where the family had been. I even noticed that one of the family members was a World War II vet who probably couldn't see because of all the goons in front of him. All the soldiers were further back, on a different side, back behind everyone else. I guess my question to you is this: am I viewing this wrong? Is this just another show of how disrespectful he is toward the heroes of our nation, the true heroes of our nation? Should the families and soldiers have been in the front shouldn't the family and soldiers have been in the front ahead of the others that he rubs elbows with every day? As a Marine, this completely disgusts me. Before any of those non-deserving fools should have been at least the family, in my opinion." And that's so true. Who put the United States congressmen who've done exactly nothing on the front 2 rows, and then there's his family on the 3rd row, and the family of the 2 soldiers who died and whose lives he was working to save, which is why he received the Medal of Honor? You put them back on the 3rd row. They gave the ultimate measure of commitment to our nation, and they're on the 3rd row, behind the Democrats in Congress. If there is a more fitting example of the hubris and arrogance and lack of respect for everyday Americans than that photograph, congressmen on the first 2 rows and the honest, decent, everyday families who've lost loved ones in Afghanistan at a ceremony to honor their loved ones on the 3rd row. If there is a more fitting picture for what's wrong in this country, I can't imagine what it is.